I have 4 masters and a PhD, but then I found out that it's not dynamic enough. I realized that I can't really change things so easily. Failure is not an option for me. My life changed completely. I don't recognize the weekends and working days anymore.
You started from scratch, from zero.
Yes, from complete zero.
When you start, it's about facing problems.
In the beginning, when I had no employees, no partners, I was just collecting ideas and trying to think how to launch it. And at the beginning, I did really everything myself. So what makes me the happiest is the progress we are doing from week to week. So my greatest dream is really to build a company with a significant social impact.
Hi, Tibor. Thank you so much for coming to the life of a founder. How's it going?
It's going very well, thank you. How are you doing?
My pleasure. We're done already with you the founder talk, but that's a different podcast. Why we do the life of a founder? Because we really want to get into the life of any founder coming to talk to us, of course, and telling us their story, okay? What they do and what is behind creating a successful startup, the up and down, all the problems that any startup founder uh, is going to face, especially when it comes to the very beginning, at the very early stage. Now, as here we are, I would like to start with you with my first, no question, but the first topic I really would like to discuss with you is how do you become a startup founder?
Well, I tried different things in my career. First of all, I was kind of eternal student, so I studied at various universities. I have 4 masters and a PhD, so I naturally continued with my academic career. But then I found out that it's not dynamic enough for me. So I did some research at the central bank in Slovakia, which was more dynamic. But I realized that I can't really change things so easily. So then I tried standard employment in corporates or smaller firms. But again, I did not really like that someone was telling me what to do. There was a hierarchy, and I had to follow some rules of the company and some politics. So I became freelancer, which was much better because I did not have to solve any competition among colleagues and neither politics in the company. But again, I had to work on the things that someone told me what I needs to be done. I could not really make my own projects, my own products. And that's why I naturally became a startup, is because I got an idea that I wanted to make real. And this was the strong moment in my body to decide that I quit all the jobs and I just go for it and build my own company.
What was the very strong motivation when you start up? Uh, you very much don't know where you're going to. You have a desire to do something. You have a strong motivation to do something, but none of us knows where actually we are going to. If we are going to succeed or we are going to fail, of course we hope to succeed, and we do all it takes to get there. But it's very unknown. It's absolutely going through uncertainty every day, and the full unknown was going to happen after. So you must have a very strong motivation. Now, as you said, you want to do something more active, something that can help, something that can give you more pleasure also, the boring day to day going to work and without creating something that really you like. So, but what was the very strong motivation to that? You know what, I'm going to give up what I'm doing. I want to very much focus on what I really would like to do and a kind of dream for me.
So I had basically three strong reasons to go this way. The first one was that I really wanted to create something that is my own product, something that will last, that will have impact on the society. The second was freedom. I did not really like the structure that I have to show up at certain meetings with certain people who are telling me what to do. So I'm kind of rebel and I like to do things my way. And the third, and of course, obviously, the most practical thing is I wanted to create a passive source of income for the future. So I realized when I work as a freelancer, I'm paid only when I work. And I wanted to create some engine that will generate income even when I don't work. And the only way to do it is to build your own company.
I mean, the day when you decided, okay, because I'm pretty sure there is a way, there is a time when you start thinking. Of course, you are not there, you are not in action, right? You didn't decide yet. And after the day when you say, okay, you know what, it's the day, it's the day. So today I'm going to decide. Today is the day when I'm going to quit and start this new venture. How was the feeling?
How was the feeling? So I at that time I worked as a freelancer for one Israeli startup. So it was very intense work, very well paid project, but very very intense. And next to this project, I was launching my startup, and I could not simply resist the amount of work. I was working 14, 16 hours a day, and it was simply too much. And I could not keep the pace. And my colleagues from the Israeli startup noticed that I cannot perform at 100% as before. And they asked me what's going on. And I tell them, well, I'm actually launching my own startup. I can't do this anymore. And they said, then let's quit and we wish you good luck. So we somehow decided to stop this torture, and I quit that project, and then I continued only 100% working on my startup, and that was the breaking point in my personal life because I took a tremendous amount of risk. I'm a father of a family. I have a wife, two kids, and suddenly I announce, well, I won't have income anymore. I will just run my own startup. And my wife was not very happy with these announcements, and even now she considered it to be very risky business what I'm doing. But I feel very happy. I have the best job ever in my life, and paradoxically the worst paid ever in my life because my income is zero. But
You must.
startup is slowly taking off, so I hope sooner or later I will start generating some income. I'm very optimistic in this way.
I'm completely sure you will. I mean, perseverance is what matters and resilience in this startup life. I mean, I always say to everyone, you must have very strong skill, be very perseverant, and have a high, absolutely high level of resilience. Otherwise, you will collapse one day. There's nothing to do. It's very, very beginning. The problems overcome any solution you have today. Also, when you start, it's about facing problems and challenges every day. Now, because of that, and because you are married, you have kids, you have a wife, how your life changed after deciding and taking this road?
So my life changed completely. I don't recognize the weekends and working days anymore. Actually, if I can work, I work, and I don't care whether it's Sunday or public holidays. If I want to take a day off and it's in the middle of the week, I don't care. I just see in my agenda that I have no meetings, so I go out, take care of my kids if they need it. So it's much more flexible way of living than I had before. I have no tough schedule that I need to follow. So it really brings me lots of freedom on one side, but on the other side also lots of responsibility. I know I must find my internal motivation to work, and I don't actually have problem with this. I wake up every morning full of energy, and I want to sit down to my computer because I'm curious what's going on, who replied to my email, what are my business partners doing, how the business is doing, my first customers. So I have a really very, very strong motivation to work. And I never felt something like this before when I worked on paid projects. So these were the main changes in my life. Strong internal motivation, lots of time flexibility in my decisions, and I would call it freedom that I never experienced before as an employee.
That's the beauty, right? You have the freedom to decide. The price
Yes,
is high, very high.
I have no boss, and that's amazing feeling.
Every no every nobody is telling you do this, do this at this time, and take this
Exactly.
task, and you're never happy. That's the reality. So you're the boss yourself. You know what to do, but this brings method and discipline, right? So you cannot be a founder if you don't have a method and discipline in place, right? How do
Exactly.
you discipline? Which kind of method you give to yourself?
Well, discipline, I know that I am responsible for company. I have co-founders. They also invested their money, their time into project. I even employed my wife, engaged my wife. She became the first employee of our company. And I feel strong responsibility for this project. And I just cannot let it go. I feel strong responsibility for the company, and this is what makes me keep moving, and that's why I feel responsible for the functioning of the company. I'm very motivated to work long hours. If the company requires me to work on a Sunday, I have absolutely no problem for it. So the responsibility for the company is the main engine that keeps me going. I feel highly motivated and responsible for what I'm doing and building.
Do you believe in routine? There are many books where a lot of these very successful entrepreneurs there is something in common, right? Some kind of routine they every day they do. I'm the same, but this is because keep me in line. Do you believe in routines? And which is your day-to-day routine? How do you spend your day?
So my day now looks much more interesting than before. When I worked as a data scientist, so I spent most of the time behind my computer coding and analyzing data, and my work was very social. I hardly met anyone. I did mainly online meetings in the morning or during the day, and that was it. So I did not get out of my office, did not meet anyone outside. Nowadays, when I'm a founder and CEO of the company, I must go outside. I must present my company. I must go to workshops, to conferences, to mentors, to business partners. I have so many meetings and I'm meeting so many interesting people that I really enjoy this way of work much more than just being behind your computer the whole day. So I don't really have a standard routine that I would wake up in the morning, have a stand-up meeting at 9, and then do some coding, take lunch, and finish coding, and then submit my work to my boss at the end of the day. No, I don't have this routine anymore. I get up, I see what's the agenda, whom I should meet, what are the hottest tasks to finish, what I need to push, where I need to wait. Then I have lots of things to do. I have to prioritize what is now the most important thing. Shall I update my pitch? Shall I send emails to investors? Shall I serve new clients? Go to banks? I'm selling digital mortgages, so it requires also some interaction with banks. So I always have to prioritize what are currently today the most important thing to do. And then I start doing it. And one day I can spend as a financial broker processing applications from our clients and thinking what would be the best mortgage for for my clients to take. The other day I can think about marketing strategy. I have a call with my mentor who tells me that I should start building brand. We are talking about the different digital channels we can approach and launch our marketing campaign. Another day, I can spend the whole day reading contracts and spending my time on legal stuff, which I find the most boring in my work, but I have to do it. So I cannot say that I have routine. I'm not a data analyst. I'm not a lawyer. I am a person who does everything in the company. I sometimes I do testing of the product. I have meeting with developers. So my work is so rich and various. Each day is different. I really don't have any routine at this moment. That's what I like about my job, actually.
Do you wake up every day, the same day? Do you give to this kind of discipline, or you're more flexible?
So I get up usually early before my kids get up. So they get up at 7. I get up 6:30 because I practice yoga each morning to really stretch my muscles and do some meditation. I prepare mentally for the day. Then I wake up my kids and my wife. I bring my kids to school, which is a nice walk. I live in the city center of Bratislava, so it's nice walk, 10 minutes to bring them to school. Then come back, have a coffee with my wife, then I'll sit to my computer and I start working. And then my wife calls me, hey, there's lunch waiting for me. Yeah, please give me a minute, I'm finishing something. So then we eat together, and in the afternoon my wife takes usually care of my kids and I continue working. Either I have some meetings outside or I just do some work on my computer. But most of the time I have every day I have some meetings with clients. Some of them are online, but sometimes I really need to get out of my home and meet people live, which is the most interesting thing, to meet people live, because then you really exchange ideas, you socialize, you feel the support from these people. And that's what I like the most about my job, to meet people.
It's a different feeling. We really know we are human beings, so we need to socialize, we need to talk, interacting. Now, how do you keep yourself fit? I mean, your mental health, because many startups collapse because founders they get burnout.
So I also almost had a burnout. I realized that I've been working too much. I did not have time to play with my kids in the evening, and they were even complaining, Papa, stop working and come to play with us. So I said, okay, something must change. So I realized that if I'm doing something that is really not my specialization and it takes me a lot of time, it's really better to delegate this task to someone else. So, for example, I spend lots of time with marketing, even though I'm not marketing expert. I had some consultation with experts online, but then I really did not have enough experience to set up the marketing campaign and manage them and optimize them. And then they say, why are you doing this? Just find marketing expert and throw it on him or her. So I found a very handy guy who is experienced marketing expert, and suddenly I saved 2 hours of my work every day. And instead of 12 hours, I worked 10 hours. And then I thought, okay, what else I can delegate to someone so that I can spend time on something that no one in the company can do. Then I also asked my wife, could you please help me with administration? This is something I hate to do, and she's much better in paying bills than me, because I have to check 10 times the number of bank account whether I'm not making mistake, and she does it quickly, much quicker than me. Then accounting, I asked my wife, please could you take care of our tax claim, tax, how we call it, yearly tax declaration, is it English expression, when you declare taxes once a year. So she's taking care of this on a monthly basis. She must deliver bills to our accountant. So I got rid of this task. I gave it to my wife. Then I asked my development team, guys, I can't tell you in detail what you need to develop. I don't have time anymore to really bring do business analysis of the task. I just tell you what we need to do from business perspective, and I ask you to break it down into minor tasks and distribute the tasks within your team. So this way, I suddenly saved time and I became much more relaxed. I could focus on things that are more strategic, more interesting than what I did before. So this is my recipe for all founders. As soon as you realize that something you are spending too much time on it, and it makes no sense because you can easily delegate it to someone else, just do it. Don't do it yourself. Don't try to do everything yourself, because you will burn out. And of course you must create a life balance, work life balance. So I'm doing sport once a week. I go swimming with my kids once a week. I go running once a week. I practice evening yoga class. There is a yoga center near my home, so I at least 3 times a week I go out and practice sport outside, and each morning I practice yoga at home. So this keeps me physically fit and mentally healthy.
you say right, me, you must delegate. It's even, but it's true also that when you start, maybe you're alone, you're your co-founder, you must not completely cover any aspect of your startup at the very beginning. But as you grow, you need to become a manager, managing not only the business but the people. You need to find the right people, right? You can delegate, but focus yourself on what creates value for you that cannot be done by others. Now, in all this, what do you enjoy the most? Where do you really find pleasure? Because you can't find pleasure in everything. I detest accounting. For me, it's so annoying. But sometimes, even if you have someone who does, you must still review your balance sheet, right? Accounting before filling it. But in all your day-to-day task and in what you are doing today, what you very much really enjoy, you can work 24/7.
So what makes me the happiest is the
Yeah,
progress we are doing from week to week. I see that we are further in our journey. We are closer to make the deal, to create partnerships, to find investment. We are gaining traction, new customers. New people are asking me about what we are doing. I explore more opportunities, how to expand on the market. So I cannot say in no way that we are stagnating. Each week, I move my startup one step further in the journey of taking off. So this keeps me very motivated and happy that I see the progress. It's the energy that I give to startup pays back. It's worth to work on startup. We are rolling, we are advancing. That's what makes me very happy to see the progress.
you started from scratch, from zero.
Yes, from
And
complete zero.
as the time goes, the startups start taking off, and life change because you are not yourself anymore. You start employed, you start having people to pay, you have payrolls, you have much more responsibility that you had before. In your case, you have family behind you.
Mhm.
So, how does the life change with the startup evolving and growing?
So as you mentioned, the more the startup grows, more I need to focus on management. So in the beginning, when I had no employees, no partners, I was just uh, collecting ideas and trying to think how to launch it. And at the beginning, I did really everything myself. That is the obvious thing each founder must do. But later, as the startup is growing, you cannot do everything yourself anymore. So you have to really switch into management, and you must learn how to build a company and manage people. So I took a couple of courses that showed me or taught me, or I even have a coach that explains me that the best way to build a company is really to find the right people whom you can trust and delegate them your tasks. And this is completely different mindset as when you are freelancer. As a freelancer, you want to be superstar in the project. You want your customer to give you work because you are paid for work. If you don't have work, you don't bill anything. But when you switch from freelancer to entrepreneur and as an owner of company, you must completely change your mindset. You don't want to be superstar anymore. You want other people to become superstar and replace you, because when you find people who can replace you, you can free your time. You can find a time to spend on things that are more interesting than daily operational routine. And this is what I'm now striving to do, to really find great people who can take part of my duties, and I release time for myself, for my family, and of course for strategic decisions of my company and building new partnerships, new business developments, etc. So this is the main change from the beginning when you do everything to nowadays where I need to delegate tasks to people and of course control the outputs and try to release myself from these routine duties.
I mean, I completely agree. In my believing, real companies must go beyond the founder, right? We are humans. One day we are just here, not forever, right? All of us, one day we finish. I know it's sad, but that's the reality. So the company must go beyond you. That's your legacy, right?
Exactly.
As Apple did. When Steve Jobs was here, Apple was not 1 trillion company. Today it's 1 trillion company. It's over thousand people. Apple is here to stay for a very long time. Amazon is another example, though much younger. And if you are very much a great entrepreneur, if you are a very good manager, because there is a huge distinction between being an entrepreneur and being a manager. And a successful entrepreneur must become a manager one day, and the company will go beyond you. You should never be you be the company. Okay, it must be something different than you. Uh, how do you address the nightmare of an entrepreneur? Failure.
Mugs, failure is not an option for me. I'm not afraid of failure because it's not an option. I ignore this option and I don't believe it will ever happen. There's always plan B. If plan B does not work, there's always plan C. If plan C does not work, find a plan D and it will finally work. So I learned in my career as an entrepreneur, never rely only on one uh, option, one way how to process progress. Always think with a plan B. I found, for example, I was looking for a partner through whom I could sell digital mortgages, some established broker. And I found first one who rejected me. You are going to digitalize our processes? No way. We like the way as it works. And I said, wow, what now I'm gonna do? Well, okay, let's find another partner. And you see, if this would not work, I would then become myself independent broker and start approaching directly banks to make a contract with them. So if there is some problem in your startup, find a solution, find a workaround. Don't rely only on one possible way of one possible way how it could be, how it could work. If this way does not work, find another way or create another solution. Be ready to pivot your product if you see that your product is not interesting for customers. Collect feedback, why it's not good, what would you do differently, and make the change. Take courage to take the change. And don't create solution that hunts for clients. No, create solution that clients hunt for. So that's why I learned to be very flexible and ambitious in my startup, and really failure is not an option for me.
Uh, let's talk about co-founder. You are not alone. You have a
I'm
co-founder.
not alone. It's too big project to be run just by myself.
But many founders they very much struggle. They struggle to find someone that have the same vision, the same way to go, the same discipline, and they can give you a leverage and to not destroy your dream. So in your case, how has been your journey to find someone be a co-founder is like a marriage. I mean, seriously, if you do not get along, you will destroy everything. And that's I see with my eyes, experience myself this. With one startup investor, they start fighting and the startup collapse, of course, because this is what happens. So, in your case, what was your path to get there with your co-founder?
So first of all, I realized that I need to find strong partners, and I mean developers, because I had an idea how to create a digital financial product, but I did not have the skills how to code it, how to make it real. And I did not have 1 million euros to delegate, to outsource this task to some software company. So I knew that I have to find a strong partner who is experienced developer, can do it for free, and I will give him my equity, like part in my company. And I was searching for such partner, and I came to the main co-founder by chance, I would call it, because that time I worked as a freelancer. data scientist, and I was highly required on the market, labor market. I already made some connections with personal agencies. They were inviting me for the most lucrative projects in Slovakia, because I really have a very good education and the skills that were required. And one agency I created good connection with asked me to come to their office and explain to other headhunters what is the difference between data scientist, data engineer, data analyst. They received many job offers and they were not really targeting the right people. And I said, yeah, of course I can do it. This is my domain. So I came there, and for 1 hour I was explaining the differences. They asked me questions. And then the manager, the owner of the company, offered me, so send me your bill and I'll pay you, I don't know, 1 or 200 euros, or whatever you ask for. And I said, no, 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 I don't need money. I would like you to also give me consultation. Me? I said, yeah, yeah, I just want to know what are the current trends in the market, which technologies are appearing, arising, what should I learn as a highly skilled data scientist, the next platforms, tools, etc., to really keep me on the top of the market. And so he said he agreed, and he invited me next day to his office, and I was asking him about the trends and current rates, etc. And at the end, I told me, but anyway, I'm dreaming about building my own company. And he said, by the way, I was recently approached by one guy who is searching for someone to create the company. And I said, yeah, and what is he doing? He was building banking software. He used a banking software company building financial products. And I said, wow, this is the guy I need. So please give me connection. And he connected me with that guy, and we had the initial call and it went well, but then there was a problem that he was still waiting for money. He was selling his company and the process was too long, so he said, sorry, I don't have money yet, but call me in half a year, maybe I will already have money. And I said, I don't have idea yet, so let's call again in half a year. And that time I went on summer holidays to Sicily, and I was lying on the beach looking at my kids how they play in the sand. And suddenly I said, you want to create company, what it should be? Come on, you are good in economics, you understand financial products, you can code, you know how to analyze data. And then let's digitalize something that hasn't been digitalized yet. And it's mortgages. Mortgage is the most difficult financial product for households. And in Slovakia, it's in disaster way. It still functions in paper applications and personal meetings, and I think is very similar in most of the Europe. So then I called this guy after half a year. Hey, I already have idea. Let's build digital mortgage. And he said, well, I already have money, so let's do it. So this way we created a companion, and he also took on board the two other of his colleagues. He was a manager of that banking software company, and he had two other colleagues as senior developers, and he also called them to join our startup. So we have really, I have very strong team of three super senior developers. These guys have 30 plus years of experience with building banking software, and they build internet banking, mobile banking for major companies in the region, major banks. So it's really, I can rely on them when I bring them to the meeting and they say what they build in particular bank. The guys are, it was you who did it. Yeah, yeah, it was us, my team. So I have very strong development team, and this I'm lucky. We also, there is a chemistry. We get along together very well, even though they are 10 years older than me. And I need to, sometimes when I come as a CEO with a crazy idea and I don't really have it, did a good analysis of my idea, they just say, it's bullshit, and they they smash it. So I need to be careful when I propose something. I really have to have a good analysis behind to bring arguments why we should do that this way and not the other way. But this is my story, how I found my co-founders, and without them I would absolutely not be able to do anything. I would not even build a web page without these guys. So I'm so grateful that they joined my startup and they trust the startup. They decided to quit their jobs and work full time, even though we still don't have money. So we have to work for free. But we are now raising investment, and we all believe that we will soon raise some money and we'll be able to finally bring some money also to our households and wives. But it's really great team, and I'm very happy that I found these guys and they joined my startup.
This is your second family. You need to keep very
Yes, exactly.
well.
My second family.
How much time you spend with your co-founder? What's the life for a co-founder? I mean, having someone you must discuss with when you make a decision. It's not about you. You need to discuss as well. Is something that bothers you, or you get along pretty well?
We get along pretty well. So the structure of our company, we have a joint stock company, which has a slightly different structure than the limited liability company. So the minimum number to found a joint stock company in Slovakia is 4 people, and we are exactly four. And I am on the executive side, so I'm CEO and I'm a representative of the company, and I sign on papers and I make decisions. And they three these three developers, they are like in how do you call it when you control board. They are controlling me as an executive side. So if I of course some minor decisions I can do myself on a daily basis, but when there is some bigger decisions, of course I always discuss with these guys, what should we do? Shall we sign this contract? Shall we go to cooperation with this partner, etc. So we have regular meetings once a week for 1 hour, and there we discuss what happened in that week and what are the challenges we are facing. And I don't meet them in person too often because they live in other part of the country. I'm based in Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia, and they live in the eastern part of Slovakia, in Prešov, which is 5 hours by car, so not so easy to to make a trip. Nevertheless, I make at least 4 times a year a trip to Prešov, to eastern part of Slovakia, to meet my co-founders live, and it's always nice. We go out, we drink beer, and we discuss also other things than just work, personal life. And I hope when we get some investment and have more money, I will also organize on a regular basis some outgoing activities, going on a cottage, climb some mountain, or I don't know, go playing some sports, whatever. I really want to focus more on out of work activities, not only discussing work.
It's very important. It helps to build the sense of family and community. It's extremely important. Now, you have some life, of course, outside working, okay? So, how do you spend your free time, your spare time, with your family, your friends?
So I usually try to spend each evening with my kids. So I try to close a laptop at the latest around 7, so that I can still spend 2.5 hours with my kids in the evening, have a dinner, and ask them how they did at school, what the day brought to them, what they experienced. So this is important for me to really keep touch with my family in the evening and also in the morning. And during weekends, I try to organize some trip, ideally with my kids, go cycling or just take a car and go on a road trip somewhere. And of course, I also now I'm planning some holidays for the summer. We love sea, and our country does not have any sea, so we are thinking where to go, whether to the north or to the south. There are multiple options. So yeah, I try to spend my spare time with family, and of course, as I already mentioned, I need to do some sport because when I'm sitting the whole day behind computer, I have a pain in my back. So I also spend my spare time with doing sport, running, swimming, yoga, etc. And of course, I also like going out with my friends for a beer. It's also great, relax. I mean, mentally, when you just meet your friends, drink beer, and talk about your experiences and not about work.
You need friends. You need anyway outdoor life.
And I have very crazy hobbies, by the way. I do scuba diving, skydiving. So I jump off the airplane. I'm hunter, so I go hunting. I have a rifle at home. I also like motorbiking, ski mountaineering. So all these kind of extreme sports I love, and I spend time also doing these sports in my spare time.
You're pretty active. Let me. So you must be a dreamer because you be a founder. You must be a dreamer. There is nothing to do. And now, what is your greatest wish and your greatest dream?
So my greatest dream is really to build a company with a significant social impact that people will know, that will not only generate money but will also help people. And I already mentioned I want to make mortgages accessible to everyone, even to less educated people living in remote areas of the country. I want to help them to find a way how they can buy their first home and stop paying rents for rented flats, but really build some wealth and have their own property. So for me, this is like a mission to help people to have a impact on their lives, to help them build wealth, to find a way how to buy their own properties. And I want to expand my portfolio of services. I also want to teach people how to invest money, how to prepare for their pension. So really, I want to contribute to financial literacy in the country, and to build a company that will help people and have positive impact on the society. And once I achieve this, then what will make me very happy if I can slowly release my engagement in the company and make it work without much of my involvement, to really create company that lasts without my impact, does not without my involvement, does not need me to control it on a daily basis. And once I build this company that is self-independent, functioning, and has positive impact on the society, I will feel that my mission is accomplished, and I will be happy that I achieved my dream.
Let me close with this last one. If you can give any advice, recommendation to the founders watching this interview, this podcast with you, what can be?
So first of all, don't be afraid to launch your own company. I never thought I would be able to do so. I was even discouraged by some people. Even my closest friend told me, "Ah, you are too old to run a startup. Your family, just forget it and go to job and work as a freelancer. You will have nice salary and you will be fine." No, if you feel urge to create something on your own, if you don't want to follow the standard, like going to work and beep beep in the morning at 9 and then beep again at 5 p.m. and be like a robot who needs to follow the orders from the app and do the job that is required. And if you have the urge to change that and do something on your own, just don't be afraid, take the courage and go for it, follow your dreams, and you will succeed. The failure is not an option if you believe in yourself. If you have your own dream that you want to accomplish, just go for it and you will succeed.
Go for it and just do it. That's
Yes,
the mission of any
that's
founder.
my
Never,
advice.
as I said to everyone, never, never, ever look back. Go ahead.
Mhm.
only one way. Tibor, thank you so much for coming to the Live of Founder. I very much enjoyed our conversation, and I hope all the founders get inspired from today's interview with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Max. And it's if someone just wants to consult with me, ask me some questions, and need some advice, I'll be happy to meet online. So any co-founders, founders who feel like they'd like to get in touch with me, feel free. You can find me on LinkedIn easily, or on our webpage. DigFin.eu is the webpage. So just don't be afraid to get in touch. I'll be happy to meet other founders and exchange ideas, advice, etc.
Thank you, Tibor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Max. Bye bye.